Louisiana, your local news leader. This is Paz Pod 2.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Paz Pod 2, 6 a.m. on your Friday morning, and we're so happy to have you with us. All morning, we've been bringing you live team coverage as we get you ready to head out to the polls. Surgeons use the Mako robotic arm for various orthopedic surgeries. It doesn't do the surgery for the surgeon, rather assists the surgeon. Now, baby Tanner stayed here at the NICU at Women's and Children's Hospital for 142 days. According to the Louisiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 450,000 women in Louisiana will experience domestic violence at some point in their lives. It was a football-sized tumor. Can you imagine that? A football-sized tumor in Dylan's 3-year-old body. From one Halloween extreme to another, Lafayette residents have transformed their home into a haunted house of its own. All right, ask and you shall receive. I said I wanted to try a lobster roll. Lobster's my favorite. Jeff Wright from Bonefish Grill, you're hooking us up this morning.
Megan, come on, Megan, just put it right up there. Don't be scared. You can't miss anything.
Like this much? That's
keep
a lot.
Going. No, keep going. A little bit more. We're going to make a good drink.
If I ever park at your parents' house again, I should ask for $20.
Moral of the story is John's buying breakfast. He has $20. That's the thing.
People often say, well, I had the flu shot and it gave me the flu. Can that happen? The Second Harvest Food Bank and the Lafayette Council on Aging joined forces to help seniors celebrate Thanksgiving a little early. Now, experts recommend looking before you lock, checking the back seat before leaving the car, possibly putting a bag, purse, or wallet in the back seat for an extra reminder. Acupuncture has been around for thousands of years, and it can help with a number of bodily functions. Now she's going to insert the needle in my ear. We'll see how it feels. They're not worried about the storm quite yet, although many folks are staying off the roads. Vibrio vulnificus, it's a flesh-eating bacteria that can be found in raw seafood and even in brackish water. And only 50% of those infected actually survive. So I set out to see just how big the risk is for folks in Acadiana and what people can do to stay safe. A terrifying reality. Do we know just how safe the coastal waters really are?
If we had known that the risks were so high, I think maybe she would have stopped eating oysters.
Texas resident Jeanette LeBlanc died last year after eating raw oysters in Louisiana. Her wife, Vicki Berquist, says her symptoms showed up quickly.
About 36 hours later, she started having extreme respiratory distress, had a brash on her legs and everything.
So we headed to University Hospital and Clinics in Lafayette to speak with Director of Infectious Diseases, Dr. Nicholas Sells, to see just how common this infection is.
I've taken care of several cases, probably 7 or 8 in the last 2 years.
Nationwide, Vibrio infects 80,000 people a year, causing 100 deaths. According to the CDC, the Vibrio bacteria attacks the body in 2 ways: a skin infection or septicemia, a bloodstream infection that produces blistering skin lesions. LeBlanc was septic within the first 48 hours.
She was on dialysis, she had the wounds. Physically, her body was just racked from the bacteria.
This bacteria has a predilection for folks with immune systems that aren't quite the norm: diabetes, liver disease, people who are HIV positive.
Doctors say there are ways to protect yourself against the flesh-eating bacteria. Stay out of brackish water if you have a wound, or cover it with a waterproof Band-Aid. Also, make sure wounds do not come in contact with raw seafood juices. As far as eating raw oysters, a staple in South Louisiana, Dr. Sells says that's a personal choice.
That's a decision everyone's going to have to make for themselves. However, knowing the risks that are associated with consuming those oysters, I think, is very important.
LeBlanc fought for 21 days before she died. Berquist says she wants more people to know Vibrio's risks and protect themselves before it's too late.
It's hard, it's a day at a time, sad moments, and, it's just, you go forward.
Now, the flesh-eating bacteria has higher concentrations in coastal waters from May to October, but doctors warn if you see any type of infection to seek medical attention right away. I'm Megan Kelly for KLFY News 10. Incoming trauma patient can come into a hospital at any second, and air ambulance helicopters are ready to transport patients at a moment's notice. But when helipads are on top of the hospital, it can become somewhat tricky for helicopters to land. So I climbed to the very top of Lafayette General Medical Center to see just how it all works. This is a story you'll see only on 10. Climbing up to the top, 165 feet above the ground, can be pretty scary, but workers say it's necessary for hospital maintenance.
The guys have to gear up with their safety harness and their equipment, and go up there and they change the sock.
The orange windsock may seem small, but according to Facility Services Director Marcus Delahousie, the windsock serves a big purpose for the hospital.
The sock sometimes can be changed out 3 months, sometimes it'll go 6 months. It all depends on the weather.
Just go here, where's it go? Back.
So I wanted to see just how the maintenance team actually changes the windsock, equipping myself with a GoPro and safety harness before climbing up more than 20 feet above the roof. The crew and I then removed the pin to lower the windsock.
Once it's brought down, they have to cut all the straps off the ring and take the sock off, and then they install the new one by putting a new sock on and strapping it down.
After that, the new windsock is then hoisted back up as the crew climbs back down.
There's just a couple of guys that really enjoy doing it, because it's scary, because you're quite high.
So right now we're about 142 feet on top of Lafayette General Medical Center. Up there, though, it's 165 feet, but it is crucial for maintenance to change this windsock so that the helicopter pilots can land on top of the hospital.
Windsocks at each location give us definite information to make an educated decision on our landing direction when we arrive at the hospital.
John Vance has been a pilot with Metro Aviation for 12 years. Vance says the windsock is crucial for AirMed pilots, telling them the direction the wind is blowing.
Hospitals are unique in the fact that they have other buildings. Turbulence is being created by those buildings and other structures. So the wind at the airport several miles away may not, in fact, be representative of what's at that location.
Because whether it's flying helicopters or maintaining the hospital, it's all part of a team of people who work together to save a life.
It's hard to brag on ourselves. It's hard because we just do it every day, and but it is part of the patient we take care of.
You know, you see lots of bad things happen to lots of good people, and when you're able to be there and be a small part of the team that helps them get to the care that they need, it can be a rewarding day.
Every day, 14-year-old Austin Stelly heads outside to feed Pancake, Rusty, and even little Olive. He's able to get around his farm pretty easily with some high-tech help.
He would constantly fall down. That was one of the things that led us to believe that there was something going on.
Austin uses a motorized wheelchair full-time. He lost his ability to walk at 10 years old.
It can do all kinds of stuff. You can put headlights and all kinds of stuff on. Like it could elevate, recline, and stuff.
Duchenne muscular dystrophy is a genetic disorder. Over time, muscles degenerate and weaken. You guys go to Cincinnati a lot for doctor's appointments?
Mm-hmm.
How is that?
Not fun.
Austin does not have enough strength to lift his arms, but with the help of his neighbors, he's getting a new appendage, a $25,000 robotic arm. The arm works off the power of Austin's wheelchair. He controls it with a remote.
When he was able to move his arm, and he hadn't been able to do that in a long time, his face, the expression, it was amazing.
Austin is now able to feed himself again, take a drink, brush his teeth, and fix his hat. But in the midst of the excitement, there's the reality that this disease will eventually take over.
And there's a life expectancy.
Did they give you an age?
Yes.
The life expectancy is age 20.
Yeah.
And he's 14.
Yep, he's 14.
And he doesn't know that.
No.
Austin's younger sister also has symptoms of Duchenne muscular dystrophy, although it's not progressing as fast. As for Austin, he's now battling his disease, taking numerous medications, consistently going to physical therapy, and just trying to be a normal kid.
Mainly play my computer and fish.
Where do you fish?
In my pond back there.
We try to not look too far into the future and live every day, day by day.